My feet are killing me. But I'm so glad that you've all joined us for what is personally one of my favorite Disney films, The Lion King in 3D. This film, and I wrote this down because I wanted to get this right, because it really, this critically acclaimed contemporary classic has won more awards than you can shake a stick at. I mean, 2 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globes, 6 Tony Awards, 2 Grammy Awards. That's something that deserves a round of applause. And now we're going to treat this audience with a very special first look at the first public viewing of The Lion King in 3D. So, obviously, there's no better audience to show this to. You know, D23 members, you know, you're the ones, you're the fans, you're the people that we do all this for. So, we thank you for being here, and we're very excited to have you as a part of this very historic D23 Expo event and this screening this evening. So, rather than me doing more talking as the head of D23, I think it's more important to bring the filmmakers out to talk to you a little bit about the film they made back in 1994. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the co-directors of The Lion King, Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff. The 3D Stereoscopic supervisor, Robert Newman, and Oscar Award-winning producer, Don Hahn.
Thank you, everybody. It's so great to be here. Love D23, and we're really happy to be here to share The Lion King. And I want to ask these guys some questions because I know you're kind of curious about where this whole thing came from. And I want to go way back and start with King of the Jungle, because when you guys started working on this movie, it was a dusty kind of National Geographic thing set in Africa, and it was called King of the Jungle. Can you kind of talk us through those early days?
They were dark days.
They were dark days.
No, it was a kind of a different picture, but then we all decided we didn't like that picture. So we went and started tearing it apart and thinking, well, what do we want to turn this into? And we sat in a room for about 5 days with our close friends, Kirk and Gary were the directors of Beauty and the Beast, etc., and cooked up a bunch of different changes, things like Rafiki and Mufasa coming back as a ghost, things like that.
Which is
and
true.
It became The Lion King.
I know, it did. We had, and Elton John and Tim Rice were our songwriters and gave us an amazing score. Thanks to them. And those songs that came in from Elton, he would send in his demos. He would be sitting in his pajamas in his living room playing the songs. And so there was a lot of interpretation done on the songs by some great musicians like Hans Zimmer. And but also these guys, thank you, sir. A lot of people don't know how involved the directors were in the music process. And I remember one of the songs, particularly Hakuna Matata, was really a process for you guys to come up with that song. And actually, the first Boom and Timon, while we were workshopping the movie, Robin Roger. It's true.
Yeah. In fact, Hakuna Matata was actually not the original version of that song. The first version of that song was a song called He's Got It All Worked Out.
Oh, yes.
Remember that? He's Got It All Worked Out. Wasn't it? No, it was He's Got It All Worked Out, I think, because Timon was singing about Pumbaa, right? He's got it all worked out. Anyway, that's what that's how I remember it. But what happened
recedes into the mists of time.
That's true. What I remember happening, though, is that we had storyboarded the song, and Roger and I, and Don, I think, we weren't loving the song, and yet, you know, everybody in the studio had to agree to make the change, and finally it was decided, everybody in the studio, all the major people at the studio decided we should have a new song, and so we had a big meeting where we were talking about what the subject of the new song would be, and Roger and I were pitching this idea. We said we wanted the whole song to be about eating bugs. We said, you know, because that's kind of the metaphor for Simba being, you know, welcomed into this kind of other life. He's no longer a carnivore. He's going to eat bugs. And basically, when I think we pitched that, they were like, not so much. But we ended up with that as the middle of the song, which, you know, you might know. But Roger came into the meeting and said, you know, I have an idea for the title of the song. because Roger was in Africa in the initial scout and initial research trip and picked up that word, Hakuna Matata, which absolutely nobody knew what that word meant. And it's amazing now that pretty much everybody knows what that word means.
Swahili.
It's Swahili. So when we first pitched the idea, we actually performed and sang it, and we're going to do that for you right now. And I brought along this traditional African percussion to play along with it.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze.
It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's all problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. It's nutty. Thank you. Afterwards. The gentleman next to me is actually, among the four of us, the most knowledgeable. And Robert, has been the supervisor and amazing kind of technical guru after the 3D process you're going to see today. And you are absolutely the first people on the planet Earth to see this. And Robert, I was going to ask you to explain a little bit about how you translate this film into 3D.
Well, we developed a whole new technology for doing this over at Disney. We created a method where we could have artists. We had a team of 60 artists working for about 4 months. And what they would actually do is essentially paint these depth maps that they could sculpt the depth of each scene, frame by frame, and bring this stuff into beautiful 3D. Fortunately, one of the things that really helped us was this was one of the early films that was done using a pioneering digital ink and paint system. So we had all of the original artwork digitally archived, and we were able to bring that back online for our artists to work on.
Every time we came in for dailies, it was just amazing because we don't know how you do it, but we're really glad you did it. And I think you'll be glad tonight too. This is an odd film because when it was made, it was hard to get people to work on it, believe it or not. It was not the A movie, it was seen as the B movie, or maybe even the C+ movie. And really hard to draft animators onto the project. Can you guys talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I was going around begging people, oh, Brenda, come on, you'll like it, it'll be good someday. So we were dragging people in, dragging our friends in to come work on it, and it was a slow start. It was a very slow start, and we were trying to find our way through it. But we gained some momentum. What's your thought?
Well, I remember, specifically some of the animators at the studio we were trying to get to work on the movie. Some of the important animators at the movie, at the studio, who wouldn't do it. But because not everybody wanted to work on the movie, it actually gave a lot of younger artists a great opportunity to kind of launch their careers. And one of them is in the audience tonight. It's
Really?
Tony Bancroft, who was Pumbaa.
Stand up, Tony.
He's here somewhere. Tony, we want you.
Oh, there he is. Tony Bancroft.
Absolutely. Yeah, as the guys were saying, it was really hard to get people to work on this film because the pitch, when we would take them out for lunch, I remember saying this is going to be great. It's Moses meets Joseph and Hamlet in Africa with music by Elton John. It's like everybody said, good luck with that. It's going to be great. There's one more story I wanted to talk about, which is there was a time in the movie, it's a scene actually, where Pumbaa and Timon go back to Pride Rock with Simba and Nala, and they're trying to distract the hyenas so they can sneak back into Pride Rock. And originally it was boarded, I think, as a soft shoe moment. It's in the movie originally. So it was like Pumbaa and Timon doing a little vaudeville act.
Exactly. And then we came in one day, we're like, you know what, we'll really spice this up as if we turn it into a song. And we thought, the perfect model for this song is going to be the Hawaiian war chant. I'm not exactly sure why we thought that.
Yeah.
But we did, and then I think it was Irene Mackey, that's right, who was one of the writers of the movie, wrote lyrics, alternative lyrics. And then when we did the pitch, Roger and I again played Timon and Pumbaa, and we're going to do it for you right now. Luau! If you're hungry for a hunk of fat and juicy meat, eat my buddy Kobe ham, because he is a treat. Coming down to dine on this tasty swine, all you gotta do is get in line. Are you aching?
Yep, yep, yep.
For some bacon?
Yep, yep, yep.
He's a big pig.
Yep.
You could be a big pig too.
Oi!
Class act, isn't it?
We are a class act. We will be out in the lobby afterwards till well into the night and back here days after. Listen, it is movie time. And we are so proud of this movie, and I think we all of us speak on behalf of the crew that worked on this and on the 3D version. We're the front people for hundreds of artists who did an amazing job on this film, and we thank them, and this movie really is a tribute to them and their work. One of the most successful animated films of all time, and we are really grateful for that. We're grateful for you guys being here tonight, and here it is, for the first time anywhere, The Lion King in 3D.